Alright, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So let's continue our learning for chapter 2, Inequalities and Absolute Values. Alright, so today let's focus on 2.1 Inequalities. What is inequalities? Right, what is it? Inequalities. Inequalities is the symbol that involving less or equal, greater or equal. Okay, if you remember, before this, we usually play with equation. Equation, what is our symbol? Equal. So now we will change our symbol by using inequalities. Alright. Okay guys, 2.1 inequalities is divided into 3 parts. Alright. You have 3 parts here. Number 1, we will have the properties, the basic concept of inequalities. Second, you will have linear inequalities. Okay. And the third one is quadratic inequalities. Okay, so now let's focus on the properties. Alright, from the properties here, you have A. If you have A greater than B, then you have another positive number. C greater equal to 0 is a positive number. Alright, what do? You add both sides. Okay, you add at both sides, the symbol inequalities will maintain the same. Okay, you can check biological numbers, try on your calculator. Okay, number 2, if you have A greater than B, then you multiply with positive number on both sides, the inequalities will maintain the same, the symbol will maintain the same. Alright, we go to the next one. If A greater than B, then you have what here is negative number. Okay, you have a negative number here. When you multiply on both sides, okay, your symbol of inequalities will change, reverse. Okay, before it is greater, now it will be lesser. Okay, next, when you have A greater than B, then you divide by negative number on both sides, the symbol will change. Alright, so here symbol change. Next, we go to the last properties. If A greater than B, then when you make it as reciprocal means that you put 1 over the value as the denominator. Alright, so 1 over A, the symbol will change. Alright, the inequality symbol will change. Okay, so from here, I think you can make, alright, let I highlight this one first. If you can see here, the symbol will change. Okay, when will it change actually? If both sides of an inequalities, alright, multiply or divide by negative number, alright, then the symbol or the inequality sign must be reversed. Okay, actually let's make a highlight below, right, remark. Get our remarks. When will our symbol, alright, our inequalities sign reverse or change? Bila? Okay, number 1. Okay, the one that we learned here, when both you multiply or divide by negative number. Okay, the symbol will change. Number 2, when you taking reciprocal, okay, on both sides. Okay, for example, the proving is here. Okay, how do you know? For example, you have 7 greater than 4. Try to calculate it as 1 over 7, 1 over 4. The value 1 over 4 will be greater. Okay, that's explained on the number 2 remarks. Okay, when you take reciprocal on both sides, the symbol will change because the value will change as well. Alright. Okay, number 3. When the inequality sign will be reversed when you swap. Okay, you swap the left hand side and right hand side of an inequalities. Okay. For example, you want to make it like this. X less than 2 when you want to swap. Okay, just change the position to X here, so the symbol will change like this. It's just simple example for you to take it the remarks. Okay, if you can see here the remarks for number 1. Okay, the example is here. Okay, when you multiply or divide by negative number, the remarks number 2 taking reciprocal, the example is here. And then when you swap left hand side and right hand side of an inequalities, okay, the example is here. So that is the basic properties about inequalities. All right. Okay, we go to the part 2, linear inequalities. Alright, linear inequalities. Usually before you're familiar with the words linear equation. Okay, linear means our highest power for that term is 1, the degree 1. Ax plus b is the form of linear equation. Alright, equation is determine the symbol here. Alright, so now we will look at on linear inequalities. Alright, linear inequalities, that means that you still have the highest power of x is 1, ax plus b, but the symbol here will change to either it is greater or equal to 0, alright, or it is less or equal to 0. That's mean of linear inequalities. Alright, linear inequalities, let's make it as a one table. Linear inequalities, you must know how to write down the form of solution. Alright, in order for you to solve it, and you must know how to write down the final answer by using these two forms. Okay, we have two forms. First one is solution set. Okay, solution set, and the second one is the interval form. We can say as interval notation. Okay, you did learn on during our chapter 1. Solution set, how to write it. You have curly bracket at the beginning and at the end, and then you have x double dot there, and you will write your relationship here. Okay, either it involving 1, for example x less than 7, or I can give example x less than 7 greater than union x greater than 10. Okay, if it involving two value, okay, you can put the symbol union here. Alright. Okay, next we look at example of interval form. Okay, for interval form, it is like I can say that it's just the same like the point, the coordinate. Okay, the symbol of the coordinate. For example, we have AB. You can also have square bracket AB, square on both sides, or a square on the right hand side only. Okay, so what is the relationship between the inequality sign with the bracket? Okay, what is the relationship, guys? Okay, inequalities, if it is single, okay, I can say less or greater or less, the bracket should be used is also round bracket. Okay, okay, round bracket. But if it is greater or equal, or less or equal, or it is double, I would say as double, I would say as single. Okay, if double, you have to use square bracket. Square, you have to write depending on the situation. Okay, for example, if you have relationship like this, x between 3 greater or equal to 7, so our square bracket our interval form will be between 3 and 7 with round and square. Okay, and I give you another example. That's 7. So here we will have square 3, 7 square bracket. Okay, alright. Okay guys, let's see the part of equation for linear equation. Alright, if you see the word linear here, so our highest power of x will be the degree, highest degree, okay? Highest power of x still be 1. Okay, for this part, linear equation, we can say that our equations are divided into few parts, okay? The first part is when we have only one symbol on our equation, one inequality symbol, okay? For example, you can see here in this equation, we only have one inequality. Right. The second part is we have two inequalities symbol. Alright. Okay, let's first focus on one symbol. Alright guys. So for this equation we have 2 over 2x over 3 minus 5 less or equal to x over 3 plus 2. So we only have one symbol here. So we can just direct calculation, okay, by bringing x to the one part and numbers to the right hand side. So we will have here 2x minus x over 3. Okay, I can just combine because it has the same denominator, and then you have 2 plus 5. Okay, simplify the left hand side. So we have here, so x 7 multiplied by 3, you get 21. Okay. So here, if you want to see in form of number line, so number 21, less or equal means that then circle to the left. Okay, so our answer, your final answer should be, if you want to write in form of interval form, it will be 21 is the highest value on your right, and it goes to negative infinity. Right. Okay, if you want to put your answer in form of solution set, it will be x double dot x less or equal to 21. Okay, that's how you answer for this part. Okay. Next, let's look at the question that have two inequality symbol, okay, in one question. Okay, two inequality symbol, I want to divide it into two parts, which is you have only one term of x and the other part you have more than one term of x, because I want to show the difference of calculation, what you can do. Okay, here one term of x, you only have x here. Okay, what you can do, you can just bring negative 1 to both sides. Alright, so it will be negative 4. When you bring to the other side, it will change the symbol, it will be plus 1. So 3x will be alone 7 plus 1. Alright, so we get negative 3, 3x, 8. Okay, we only want x, so that means you have to divide all terms by 3. Alright, so simplify it by making as x greater than negative 1 and less than 8. Alright, 8 over 3. Okay, so this is our answer. Next, it's up to you to write it in the form, which form. Okay, if the question didn't mention which form you should write your answer, either it is interval form or solution set, you can choose anyone. Okay, unless the question state which form that you should write your final answer. So the negative 1, 8 over 3. Okay, if you have one term of x, you can just bring the value to the left and to the right. Okay, next guys, let's look at the next part, which is when you have more than one term of x. Okay, so here you can see, alright, you have here and there, not the same as this one, you only have at one part. Okay, so for this one, what you should do is you must divide into two parts, which is the left part 1 plus 3x, 5x minus 3, and the second part. Okay guys, please alert to this one. It is compulsory to you write the symbol and here because the original question combined, but you want to divide into two parts, so must put the symbol and here. Okay, so let's go direct to the calculation. You can calculate, change the numbers. Please put the number on one side and the x term on the one side. So you will have x greater than 2. X usually we don't write on the right hand side. We will write x at the on the left hand side. Okay, at the beginning. So x, if you can see the symbol is good. Okay, the symbol x greater than 2. So we change the position. It will be x greater than 2. Okay, we look at this example. We change the position of x. Let's arrange them. So we get 4x, 12. So x less than 3. Okay, here, because your answer came in separately, okay, because you actually separate the question. So next, what you should do is we have to draw the number line. Okay, we have number 2 and number 3, and then you draw the number line. X greater than 2, okay, empty circle. X less than 3, also empty circle. Alright, so now that this is where the symbol, the inequalities and the function, okay, and so and means intersection, okay, and means intersection. So where is the area that intersect on both number line? Here is the area, am I right? Alright, intersect, the area intersect here. So our final answer will be between 2 and 3. Right, that is our answer. Okay, what happened to students who write your final answer only here? It's wrong, right? Okay, so that means that when you separate the questions into two parts, to the left and to the right, you need to combine them on the number line and use the symbol intersection as your guide for you to shape. Right? So if you can see a summary for this part, we have only one symbol, so one symbol no problem, direct calculation. You have two symbols but with one term of x. Okay, so it is easy, okay, because we don't separate it, so you can just calculate the answer. But if you separate it, you must use the word, okay, I would say like this. Okay, this one you can also separate, okay, but if you separate, you must use the symbol and you must shade it at intersection. Okay, you can try this example. Okay, this example, you can try to separate, try to draw the number line and try to shade the intersection, and you get the same answer. Alright, so the last part is we have more than one terms of x. You can see here we have x here, we have x here, we have x here. So we can't just calculate directly. You have to separate it with the symbol intersect for the left and the right hand side, and then we draw the number line and we shade the intersection. Alright, so let's continue to the next part. Okay guys, continue with our 2.1 inequalities with part quadratic inequalities. Before we learn about linear inequalities, so here quadratic inequalities. Alright, so I'm sure you are familiar with the word quadratic. Okay, you play a lot with quadratic equations, which the standard form of quadratic equation come in this form. Alright, how about quadratic inequalities? Quadratic inequalities. What is the difference with quadratic equation? Alright, quadratic inequalities also comes with the basic form of quadratic, but it comes with the symbol of inequalities, which we have 4. This standard 4, alright, and you have a constant there. Usually we put 0. Okay, so that's a big difference between quadratic equation and quadratic inequalities. And of course, now you should know that inequalities means of all these 4 symbols add 1, but equation means equal here. Okay, that's the introduction for quadratic. Okay guys, let's look at for quadratic inequalities. Alright, we have 3 choices of way for us to solve our quadratic inequalities. The first one is graph. Alright, the second one is table of signs. Alright, and the third one is positive number line. Right, so now let's look at the first approach here, how we can solve the equation by using the graph method. Okay, for graph method, let's write our basic of quadratic. Okay, our graph methods depend on our A. Okay, either A is greater than 0 or A is less than 0. Okay, let's say we start with A greater than 0. and it comes with y greater than 0. Okay, so that's mean y here is actually ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. Okay, let's say it comes in these two forms. For a greater than 0, of course, you know, the graph will be a smile graph. Am I right? Yes. It comes with the part C. Okay, this is our part C with the pintasan X. Let's say a number P and a number Q. Okay, if you have a smile graph and your question is y greater than 0. Okay, where should you sketch, or you sketch your graph here? Because your sketch will determine your final answer, your solutions. Okay, when you have a smile graph and your y is greater than 0, your shaded region should be to the left, or sorry, and to the right, or I can say it to left and right, or you can notify it as outside of the smile. Outside of the smile is here. Alright, okay, next one, let's look, right, for you not to confuse, for a greater than 0 and it comes with y less than 0. Okay, here a greater than 0 means that we still have smile graph. Okay, so when your equation comes in form of quadratic inequalities less than 0, okay, you should draw the solution will lies between, okay, your solution will lies between P and Q, or I can say it as inside. Okay, this inside. So I can write this between P and Q, or it is inside. Okay, so I will explain to you how this shaded or this line matters. Okay, when we have a greater than 0 and your y is greater than 0, you draw this smile graph and you shade it to the left and to the right. Okay, this one only applies on the above part CX, di atas sahaja. Okay, di atas sahaja. So here our solution will be x less than p and x greater than q. This is our solution depending on the shaded or line that we noted here. Okay, how about this one? When you have a smile graph which comes from a greater than 0 and your equation is less than 0, so your region, shaded region, will be inside, or it is between P and Q. So our solution is x lies between P and Q. Okay, that's how important of us to find our final answer by draw the graph and by knowing where you should shade. Okay, next part. Okay, for this part, I change this one. Alright, the second part I want you to look at when you have a less than 0, okay, and the equation comes with y positive, y greater than 0. Okay, your inequalities. Okay, our graph will change to the this pattern. Alright, kalau tadi senyum, maka yang ni apa? Masam. Alright, so here we still maintain the value pintasan x. We have P and Q. When A is negative, means that you're shaded like this graph masam, and your equation comes with quadratic inequalities greater than 0. Okay, greater than 0. So for you to draw, it is actually your x will lies between P and Q. Okay, so it is, or you can shade as inside. Alright, between P and Q, or it is inside. Right, that means that you punya solution adalah di dalam ini. So x lies between P and Q. Okay, the next part, the last one, is your a is still negative and your y is less than 0. Your quadratic inequalities is less than 0. Okay, so a less than 0, a negative, that's mean you just draw this graph. Okay, What does it mean for here? Y less than 0. Okay, for y less than 0, you will draw the outside one. Okay, sorry, let's use this color. Or your x lies to the left or to the right. It is outside. So our conclusion is our solution of x will be x less than p union x greater than q. Okay, so looks here guys. If you can see what is the connection between on how you can shade the region, it's actually the opposite one. For example, when you have a greater than 0, y greater than 0, you shade it on the outside or to the left and to the right. It applies the same to a less than 0 and y less than 0. Okay, we shade to the left and to the right. Okay, then you have a greater than 0 and y less than 0. Okay, this is my graph, and y less than 0 means that at the bottom or inside or between p and q, that's why the solution lies here, and it applies to the same, to the opposite one, which is a less than 0 and y greater than 0. Okay, so actually for this part you can just, okay guys, you can just focus on these two only. Okay, the one in the box, the purple box, just focus in these two. Right. Why? Because we can change the equation for us to make our a must be positive, so that you can just focus a. When a is positive, we can just draw the smile graph. Okay, and then depending on y, if y is positive, we just sketch or draw a line to the left or to the right. When y is negative, that means it is between p and q. So it's just easy for you to just remember these two only by changing the original equations. Alright, so this part for the last a less than 0, I just show you for you to know. Now let's see the example for graphical method. Alright, let's give you example 1 here. Okay, the equation say that solve the quadratic inequalities. Alright, okay, how you, if you can see here, we can expand the equation. Alright, because our x, the highest power of x is power of 2, so that means that it is quadratic inequalities. Okay, when it involves quadratic inequalities, you must draw your graph. Okay, by using, because we want to use the graph method for us to find the answer. Okay, next we go to the calculation. Okay, let's simplify everything. So we have 7x minus 18 greater equal to 0. Am I right? Okay, next, can we factor? Nice, can we factor? Yes, we have x minus 2 and x plus 9. Alright, so here, this is not our answer yet. Okay, what we need to do is, because you know the factor here, that means you can draw your graph with factor, or the x value comes with the number negative 9 and 2. Okay, why you draw the smile graph? Because our a is greater than 0. Where is your a? Here is your a. A is equal to 1, so greater than 0. That's why you draw smile graph. And next, I want you to look at your y. Okay, your y is here. So here, y is greater equal to 0. Okay, that means that you have to shade, or you to make the x line to the left and to the right. Okay, or you can shade, depends on what you are comfortable with. Okay, so from this region that we shade, the answer is actually x less than negative 9 union x greater than 2
if you want to write the answer in form of solution set, so this is solution set, or if you want to put it as interval form, our value will be from negative infinity to negative 9. Okay, here. Alright guys, what did I forget to write here? You can see here, this is the double. Okay, the double punya symbol, greater or equal, your answer should be greater or equal, double as well. Okay, and here is our dan circle. Alright, so our final answer for interval form will be square bracket union square to infinity. Okay, so as you can see here, the three highlight is this one for you to draw the graph. Another one is here for you to know how to shape. Sorry, so this is your graph. Okay, this is for your graph. This is for your shaded, and this one is for your shaded, and this one is for your symbol. Okay, we got three important things for you to take note for us to write down our solution. Okay, shaded for you to know where to go for you to shade, and the symbol is double, so your answer must be put in form of double. Alright, so next, okay, example number 2, you have 10 plus 4x less than x squared plus x less than 12. Okay, as you can see here, this is our quadratic inequalities. Okay, so now we will, because we have x more than 1 place, okay, we have one term, x term is more than 1, so we'll separate them into two parts. Alright, to the left and to the right. Okay, please remember to put this because you did separate it. Okay, we separate into two forms. Okay, this line actually brings you 1 mark, B1. Okay, this is mark. So if you forget to put this symbol, you will lose this mark. Alright, let's continue with the calculation. Okay, we start with the left. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 10 greater than 0. Okay. Okay, if you can't see for this step, let's calculate it. So here, because x squared is greater, okay, I would rather put x squared on the left. Okay, so x squared plus x minus 4x minus 10 less than 0. Okay, so that's how I just change the position. Okay, when you change the position, we know that by video before that, our symbol of inequalities will also change. Okay, actually it's maintained the same, just because we swap the position of x, the symbol will also change. Alright, so here if we simplify, it will be x squared minus 3x minus 10 greater than 0, so we have x minus 5, x plus 2 greater than 0. Okay, here, because it is quadratic inequalities, okay, so you need to draw the graph. When we know that x value here is negative 2 and 5. Okay, so our y, okay, from here we have a greater than 0. What else we have? We have y greater than 0. So y greater than 0, that means you have to put the shaded here, put the line here. Okay, that means this region lah. Okay, so next, we are not done yet because we have another part of question. So let's solve for this ones. It is x squared plus x minus 12 less than 0. So we factor it, it will be x minus 3 bracket x plus 4 less than 0. Okay, so here we have to straight draw the graph. Okay, it is still a greater than 0, that's why it is my graph, and our y here is less than 0. So when should you draw the solution here inside. Alright, with our x value here is -4 and 3. Okay guys, how you are going to write down the answer? Okay, are you going to straight put x less than -2, x greater than 5, so x between 3 and -4? These are the solutions? No. Okay, from here you have to draw number line. Okay, you have to combine them, because the question comes in one combination, so your answer must come into one combination. So let's put a number line here with all the numbers, starting with the lowest one, -4, we have -2, we have 3, and we have 5. Okay, let's draw the line one by one. -2 is empty circle. Alright, why empty? Because the symbol is single. How about 5? Empty circle, greater than 5. Okay, how about the second one? X is between -4 and 3, also empty circle, because the symbol is single. Okay, less than only. So here, what is our combination of this? It is n. So it is intersection. So our intersection for all this line is, it lies here. So end up, our answer will be x between -2 and -4. Solution set must have curly bracket, or you can write as interval form. It is between -4 and -2. Okay, so okay, if you are still confused, actually it is a very easy thing. Okay, for graph method, if you are only involving with one symbol of inequalities, okay, you just have one symbol of inequalities. I think I should write here. We have here is one inequalities. Okay, you can just draw, you can just calculate and you draw the graph. Why do we have to draw the graph? We have, because we want to know where the solution lies. Okay, so for you to draw the graph, you have to look at a value, and for you to shade it, you have to look at this second step for you to draw is depend on you punya A. Okay, second one is for you to take note the region, or I can say shaded, easier as shaded. You depends on Y, and for you to know whether it is included or excluded. Included or exclude is depend on you punya symbol of inequalities. Alright, so you must know all these three combination in order for you to answer correctly. Okay, continue our remarks here. Okay, so this is for question with one inequalities. How about we have two inequalities? Alright, if you have two inequalities, you have two, ada dua symbol inequalities here, so you will separate it into two. Alright, with in the middle you have to put and the intersection. Okay, so next you solve on the left. When you solve on the left, you also must draw the graph and take note where the solution lies, and then you try to solve on the right and you take note where the solution lies on the graph. Okay, so here alright, it's not the solution yet. Alright, it's not the solution yet because the question comes in one form, so you need to combine everything into one form. So here we will use number line. Okay, number line, you draw everything, and here you must follow. If it is single, so it will be empty circle. Okay, when it is empty circle, our final answer will have either it is single symbol or round bracket only. Okay, so when you combine number line, the shaded that involved is actually the intersection between this from the left and to the right, the intersection between two of them. So the intersection only lies on this one, so our final answer is like this. Okay, so I hope you guys can really see what is the difference of them. Alright.
Alright, okay, continue with our quadratic inequalities. So for the graph, okay, we recall back, okay, we have two types of graph, but I will only touch on a greater than 0. Alright, so all for a greater than 0, so we know that it is that's my graph, okay. And let's assume the value of here is P and Q. Okay, so how we are going uh, to shape or label our solution is depend on our y. So here, let's say the y is greater than 0. Okay, for y greater than 0, your solution will lies more than less than p and more than q, or it is outside. Okay, so our solution will be this one. Okay, so now if your quadratic inequality is less than 0, okay, so your solution will lies between or like this one. So your final solution x greater than p and less than q. Okay, that is what you need to know for using graph method. Okay, how you are going to shade is depends on your quadratic inequalities. Okay, but for this one you also have to take note. It's depend on equation, right? For example, if this equation use the double sign, so here it will have the double sign. All right, so please, this one is easy. Okay, make sure you remember one by one step. Okay, don't make mistake on this. Okay, so now let's focus on second step, table of signs. All right. Alright, table of signs is we will build a table depending on our questions. Okay, so here I will directly give you example. Okay, let's say the question asks us to solve a negative x squared plus 3x plus 4 less equal to 0. Okay, so here is our inequalities, and square is our highest power of x, so it is quadratic inequalities. Okay, what is your first step? You see here, our a is negative, alright? So you have to change negative first because it will be much easier by multiplying everything with -1. Okay, after you multiply, you will get x squared minus 3x minus 4. And how about the symbol? It changed greater than 0. Right, so next are for us to factor. Okay, what is the factor inside? -4, it comes from -4 and plus 1. Okay, right, so here we will have our critical point, which is x equal to 4 and x equal to -1. So if you can see here, if we draw number line, so you will have x equal to -1 here, x equal to 4 here. And for us to draw the table, you will need to know the interval involving between these two values, these two critical points. So here we can identify we have interval 1, we have interval 2, and we have interval 3. Okay, you will draw 4 by 4 table. Okay, that's the standard form of our table. Okay, with factor and interval on the top. Okay, factor will be on our column. So your factor is, let's put the anyone. Okay, you just choose one of them. Okay, which one you want to write first is okay, and then the product of the two factor. Okay, settle for the factor. Next is our interval. Alright, interval, as I said earlier, is this one, the interval. Okay, so now we will define what is interval 1. Interval 1 is x less equal -1. Okay, next interval 2, x is between -1 and 4. How about number 3? X greater equal to 4. Okay, why do I have to use the symbol double here? Because we have the double from the equation. Okay, take note for that one. Alright, so here, because we have the interval, you can write down the critical point here. So our critical point that last here is -1, and here is our critical point is 4. Am I right? Okay, yes. So next step will be you to substitute value. Alright, so for you to substitute value, okay, we subs value. Alright, so let's use the purple color for you to alert value that lies in the interval. Okay, for example, here, what is the nearest value that less than -1? I choose x equal to -2. Alright, how about here? Between -1 and 4, I will choose the easiest number will be 0. And here I will choose 5. So what is your job is actually to substitute the value that we choose inside the factor for us to know what is the sign. Okay, so it will be -2, -4, we get -6. So you will write here the symbol, the sign will be negative. Okay, so follow here, -2 plus 1. Okay, we substitute on in the second factor, so we get -1. So here our sign will be negative. Okay, follow to the second value, x equal to 0. 0 minus 4 is -4. How about here? 0 plus 1 is 1. So our sign here will be negative, our sign here will be positive. Okay, next we go to the next value, x equal to 5. x equal to 5 here we get 5 minus 4 equal to 1. How about this one? 5 plus 1 equal to 5 plus 1 equal to 6. Okay, so here we got positive and positive. Okay, it's actually you don't have to write down the value here. Okay, but I want to remind you, if you have the questions during your exam or test, if you show the calculation here, simply show your calculation. Actually, you can check whether you are making mistakes or not. Okay, that is the point for that. Okay, so now you will multiply both of the sign and put on the bottom here. That's our conclusion. Okay, negative multiplied by negative, you get positive. Negative multiplied by positive, you get negative. Positive, positive, you get positive. Okay, how we are going to choose our answer? Okay, your question. Alright, your question asking about positive solution. Okay, the positive solution. So here we are looking for positive solution. Okay, of x. Thus, we look at where our positive lies. Our positive lies is here and here. That's it. Our solution will be x less equal to -1 union x greater equal to 4. Alright, so this is our solution. If you write in the form of solution set, or if you want to put in interval form, you will have -infinity to -1 square bracket union 4 to infinity. Okay, that's how you're going to answer if you want to use or have to use table of sign. Okay, this table of signs. So remember, what you need to find first is for you to identify if you have two critical points, we will always have one first, second, and third interval. Okay, so you will draw the 4 times 4 table. Okay, write down the factor on the column and the product on the factor, and interval on your row. Okay, and decide what value you want to use for you to substitute and get the sign. And for the final one, we need to know what is your question. Your question 1, the solution, positive solution of x because it's greater. Okay, if it is less, so that's mean negative solution. So because we want positive solution, we go to positive sign and write down the solution. Okay, you can try this solution by drawing the graph and you should get the same answer. Okay, let's continue. Our last step for quadratic inequalities. Alright, if you can see here for quadratic inequalities, yes, we have 3 choices of solutions. The first one is graph, table of sign, and now we will look at what is positive number line. Okay guys, let's use the same equation as we used for table of signs. Okay, this is our equation. Okay, if you can see here, our original A is -1. All right, -1, so it's made that less than 0. Okay, you can change the a. Okay, we start to change the a for that. Our a will be positive. So for you to change the a to be positive, you multiply everything with -1, so you will get positive, and the inequality symbol will change, will be reversed. Okay, so here we have our factor. Okay, so now what is our new step is actually we will start with by assuming the factor are positive. Okay, the first factor is x less than 4 greater or equal to 0. Okay, why do we have to use this symbol double? Because the equation comes from double symbol. Okay, can you see here? Okay, it comes from double greater or equal, so you need to use greater or equal. But if equation come only in terms of this, so we use single. Okay, can you see? Okay, so here you will get x greater or equal to 4, and you will get x greater or equal to -5. So next we will draw it on the number line. Okay, you put -1 and 4 here. Okay, we start with -1. -1 is greater or equal -1. So that means you need to start with then circle with an arrow heading to the right. Alright. Okay, another one is 4. X greater or equal to 4. So 4 you will start from 4 with then circle. Why it is then circle? Because it is double. Alright, because it is double. If it is single, it will be empty circle and draw an arrow with it heading to the right because it is greater. Okay, so here what you should do, because we assume it will be positive, so we will put the positive symbol on the arrow. Alright, on the arrow. Alright, so we have positive, and positive here. Next one is any area, okay, in this region, in this interval that don't have the arrow, we need to label it as negative. So we have one here, we have one here, and one here. Okay, that's it. Okay, next we need to multiply both symbol. Alright, so negative here we get positive, negative we get negative, positive we get positive. Alright, so now we will look back at our question. Okay, what is your question? You look here. Alright, you look at the factor you already did. It is greater equal to 0. That means that you are looking for positive solution. Okay, I hope you can see the yellow or no. Okay, we are looking for positive solution. So our positive solution is here and here. So our final answer will be, what is our interval here? It is negative infinity to -1 square bracket union with start with 4 square 4 because it is then circle, or and it is double sign 4 until infinity. Okay, so that is our solution. If you are looking for negative solution, this will be the answer. So I think that's all my highlight for quadratic inequalities. When do you, it is quadratic inequalities when you have x square with one of the inequality symbol. Okay, that's when you need to solve for the x. So here is the way for you to solve for the x for positive number line, and table of signs we did learn before, as well as the graph. Okay, so it is a very fun subtopic for us to learn. All right, so thank you. Bye.